Hi, it's Hazel and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. Now this video is going to be different in that I'm in my kitchen and this is my camera's handheld. Now, I suppose I could have dragged my heavy, well, I couldn't have dragged my heavy phone holder here and rigged it up, so this will have to do. Now, if you remember or saw that haul video, you know that I, at a garage sale, at a town-wide garage sale, got a box of really grungy, gross-looking tie-dye and RIT dye bottles. So at some point, I got all these bottles cleaned up. These are just the tie-dye ones. I got them cleaned up, and if there was just dregs of a certain color in the box, or in the box, I combined colors. So they're probably not authentic to whatever you might buy. Now it says on here, it says tulip, one-step tie-dye. So if there were purples, I combined purples. If there were oranges, I combined oranges. Being careful, of course, not to make mud. So what I did today was I spread out a long piece of Anaglypta wallpaper. And of course, now let me show you an area that has not really been painted. So it kind of has that plaster, old world look to it. So this is where I began. Now I'm wearing, or I was wearing, rubber gloves, because I think there'd be staining. I have a 2-inch foam brush. I have a pipette that I was reusing, like I wasn't rinsing it between colors. And I have a paper towel here that I was using to mop up spills. Now mine is a quartz countertop, and they are virtually indestructible. If you were working on something other than that, something more porous like marble, I guess arborite would wipe clean, wood would definitely be porous, then I would suggest that you protect your workspace with a sheet of plastic. Okay, so here I basically used my 2-inch brush to, oh, and I should show you how I had the paint to make it accessible. I have these shallow muffin tins, and they're only about, I don't know, 5/8, 3/4 of an inch deep, so they don't hold a great deal of color. And I did, as you can see, some I virtually emptied, some have more in them. I never did try this green that looks so darn transparent. Now, I don't know, because I got these things used, I don't know how, sorry about that, don't know how opaque or not the color is. Like this one, sorry, this one feels heavy. I shook it up to the best of my ability. It doesn't look like it's particularly, I can hear chunks. Thought I got rid of all the ones with the chunks. This color was really saturated, and you can see there's still that dried up stuff at the bottom. This one is that really thin greeny color, so I don't know if it had more, like, I just don't know. But I was determined to use these up. Now I still haven't touched the RIT dye. Anyway, back to what I started at this end, and I basically used a combination of the sponge brush dipped into different colors, and then I use the pipette to drop in colors. Now, of course, this is still wet, so it remains to be seen how this will dry. Now, my intention here, I guess, was, I don't know, 2, 3-fold. Number one, use up what I bought. I sort of like use it, don't store it. I have a lot of this Anaglypta wallpaper. Not all of it is is this same pattern. However, this is one of my favorite ones because I think I maybe should have been living in Italy with those frescoed and plastered walls. So I kind of went a bit intense here. So there's some purple, there's a red, kind of a brown, maybe that's it. Maybe there were 4 colors. Then in the next section, I went more, I'm having to lift these up because of course, you know, I'm a little shorty. This is more just dribbling color on with the pipette. So again, there's that rich, I don't know what color, it's a brown of some sort. And you can see how it's so interesting how it pools. So actually the anaglypta is doing a lot of the work here. So you can see that that's going to be very beautiful when it dries. Now what I might do, should I just try doing that? Let's see if I can just, no, this is not a blower, it's a, oh, so that doesn't work to just try blowing the color. At this point, I don't really want to lose these individual droplets and these puddles. Now, however, they are fairly thick, so I wonder what would happen if I just touched it and spread it a bit. I wanted to leave some of this more, well, I guess I should show you what I'm doing, eh? Leave it more au naturel than this first one that I had done where I really spread the color. I am very consciously also leaving a lot of white space because of course that, oh, see, I need to see what I'm doing, so I move the phone to the side, which doesn't help you guys see anything, does it? So I'll kind of keep an eye peeled on this. Now it's very warm here today. It's 22 centigrade in the house, and 28 outside. So far the air conditioning hasn't kicked in. Sorry, I keep forgetting that I need to move this so you can see what's happening. I don't know what color. No, I left, I didn't obviously rinse off the, see, I'm kind of doing the opposite of what I said I want to do, so let me put that down while I still can. In this next section, I just used, and again, the color is not showing up that accurately, but I just used the gold. Maybe if I get in closer, you can see. So it's nicer than, yeah, a deeper, richer than yellow. And it's a combination of bigger puddles. Whoops, I'm out of focus there. Bigger puddles and, where I've spread it. So I think that this, when it's dry, will obviously, the different sections will obviously provide a base or page spreads or collage fodder, and that was my intention. So then I did a green. Now again, you can see I have a huge puddle there, and these sections, this green one is pretty narrow here. Let me just lift this camera up a bit and you'll see it's pretty narrow. It's maybe 8 inches wide, and so I think wallpaper is typically about 22 inches. So, I mean, I could get a signature, some signatures out of each section. So that's what the green looks like. Again, I have a big, whoops. And then at the end, I could have probably picked a longer piece, but then I wouldn't have had any room for my supplies at the end. I used the purple. And again, these colors, it's not that accurate, to be honest, what I'm seeing on the camera and what I'm seeing in real life. I think this will be beautiful. Like, look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Let me I'll switch hands here for a second. Slide that out of the way. And then this bottom and the last corner is this almost like a terracotta, burnt sienna type of color. And look how the paint has puddled along that design in the paper. So hopefully when this is dry, well, number one, I'll show it to you. I'm going to try, I said this before, but I'll say it again. I'm going to try to make it my business to do the follow-up Friday videos. That was a hashtag, I don't know if invented, but certainly used by Kim Newberg. And the idea being that, you know, that way you get to see some of the things that have been completed or dried or finished off since, you know, after the actual video where it was started. So maybe I can I'll try to do a shot this way so you can see the expanse of this paper. Yeah, so I think my island is about 7 or 8 feet long. So that's how much paper I will have once this dries. I will show you the results, and I'll probably cut it up into sections. And I will also commit to working on these further once they are dried. Wonder what would happen if I just disturbed some of these bubbles with the tip of the pipette as opposed to the brush. I guess and of course it's like using paint. If I were to wait till some of the more diffuse, thinner colors dried, then it would, then the new color that's being spread on it would sit on the surface as opposed to blending. I don't know that I really like what I'm doing here, but as we like to say, it's only paint, it's only paper. This is purple. I guess the difference, this almost looks like fireworks or something. Let's maybe build on that idea. Whereas that one is more blended. I would say, yeah, well, you know, you can't really love one of your children more than the others. So that is different. I'm not going to say worse. Just kind of breaking up some of these heavy dots, heavy puddles, so that they I like what's happening here. Now, because the paper, you know, is wavy, because I saturated that first section so much, there's waviness here. You probably can't really see that, or maybe you can if I go like so. See that right there at the top, that wave? So some of there are dips and valleys. So that's why some of the color is maybe not moving as you would expect it to. You can see as I do this, there's a hump in the paper. Now, I know there was a tie-dyeing craze a while back. Seems to me I bought a kit and t-shirts for my grandsons with the intention, oh, Nana will do a craft with them when we visit. But of course it never happened because we ran out of time. Look at that. Cool. This is like a Rorschach ink blot. And what do you see there? Oh, you are psychotic. Okay, now we know for sure. Anyway, I don't know how readily available tie-dye paint. Is it paint or what is it really? Fill to the waterline, shake until dissolved. Anyway, I don't know what it is. But the reality is that we do have access to watercolors, to acrylic paint that could be watered down. Of course, you use, unless you use a medium, you will lose some of the saturation of the color. Grit dye, tie dye, and I guess the point of this was to prove to myself and to you that it is possible to use these colors for our purposes. Like, I would never tie-dye anything, but look at the beautiful papers that I will end up with just by, looking outside the box. Now, I was cognizant of how much paint I was putting in the muffin tin, but you can see that I have 4 colors that are still very much in there. So I guess what I'm going to have to do, because of course it's going to be virtually impossible to get that back in the bottle now. I just can't tell you how excited I am by what is happening just in the space of this video. As these colors settle out into the design of the paper and, dry. Maybe the least interesting so far, oh, you know what? I could probably just quickly, the least interesting, I was going to say, are the gold one and the green one, because of course it's just one color. So, but why don't I take my dropper, my pipette, and, okay, you can't see this because I've got my arms crossed here. I'm filling this up with some of that really thin so it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It's adding a little more interest to this color, to this section. And it's also serving to empty that, or at least get some paint out of that, that muffin tin. I don't want to wash this down the drain. See, I took my glove off on that hand. Probably shouldn't have. I don't know how much this stains. Whoa! It's not that easy to pick up the color sometimes. Maybe I'll venture a little closer to the yellow. I seem to be picking up more air than, oops, sorry. I've been a little concerned with how long some of my videos have been. I think I found a solution. Do everything handheld. When my hand goes numb, it's time to end the video. Okay, I need to switch because that is starting to hurt. If I thought I was kind of awkward with my right hand. Okay, you don't need to see much more of that, but you can definitely see that it is a lighter color than the other green. So let's try something. This was a fairly dark color, so let's see what happens. Again, old lefty here. If I introduce some of this, whoops, orangey color. Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, look at, well, you know, it is kind of bright. I don't know why, oh, splashed into the green part. I don't know why it's not really showing up accurately on the camera. Mind you, I have my back to the windows, so that probably doesn't help. And I may, sorry, leave some of this. Doesn't that look like, what are those? Are those synapses in the brain? You know, where it's got these lines? Okay, I think I need to change my, mind you, they say that you get more, it's more freeing if you use your non-dominant hand, like if you're drawing or painting. I'm going to I'm going to quickly, well, not quickly, slowly go around to the other side of the island and hope that now see, this has made this more interesting because number one, there's more contrast, and number two, it's serving to blend. So see how those two colors there are, you know, it's variegated because I haven't stirred them, so to speak. They're just sort of sitting adjacent to each other and blending on their own. Same thing with this one here. I almost have that section off the muffin tin. Now this is taking over the gold. I almost have that that well in the muffin tin empty, so. Maybe I'll do this close to the edge here, just to get some of the color and not lose all of the gold. Okay, I will finish the rest, dribbling out the rest of this after I turn the camera off. And I'll be sure to show you the results in a follow-up Friday. Anyway, I hope this has intrigued you enough to look through what you might have as leftovers of pigment in your studio. Now, I said I used Anaglypta wallpaper. What could you use if you don't have that? Well, you could obviously use watercolor paper if you're so inclined. You could try brown paper, you know, like open up a giant shopping bag or something. That will obviously give you a different look than this does. But that paper, you know, is sort of absorbent, and it would help suck up, you know, some of the colors. So, yeah, I guess the best I can say is experiment. Now, because this is pretty saturated, you want some paper that's got some thickness to it. Like you don't, you know what, maybe handmade paper, if you had any of the big sheets like that. Well, it doesn't matter what size the sheets, but you know, in art stores, they sell them in 23 by 30s or so. Now that paper is going to be able to take this amount of wet. So anyway, I will, should I burst this bubble? I will let you guys go, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.